Hello, welcome to Cover 2 TV. It is our show the day after the NFL draft, and oh my days, what a mental draft. I mean, first pick, everyone's mock draft's wrong, pretty much, unless you did it yesterday before the draft. And, you know, it was such a shock to see Baker Mayfield from 3 days ago, I think it's an absolute shock. Yesterday, the rumours coming out of the building are that it is going to be Baker Mayfield, but they still took the sweet time, didn't they?
Yeah, they milked it as well as they can. I mean, they've only been on the clock since December 31st, so, you know, they needed that extra 10 minutes just to double check. All the buzz, it was mad. It came about, I say we record Friday morning, Thursday morning, I think we all woke up and it was everywhere. It was like, yeah, they're taking Baker Mayfield. All the insiders had him going number one, and so that's when we all kind of realised, yeah, that's what's going to happen. It cost me some money, which is great. No, it's a 2 years ago, if you said Baker Mayfield's going to be the number one pick in the NFL draft, people would have laughed at you. Absolutely laughed at you. Undersized lad, couldn't beat Patrick Mahomes out of A&M. Had to, went to Oklahoma. I say, it's an absolute meteoric rise, and it's one that it's still. Listen, I took Darnold. I think Darnold's the best player, but I can see why they've gone for Baker Mayfield in terms of the character. He's got a bit about him. He's got that edge which you probably need, and he's very, very accurate. So worst case is, he's not going to be turning the ball over for fun like some, So the floor is quite high for him. So I can see why they've done it. But like I say, it's 2 years ago if you said he was going to be the number one pick and you said Baker Mayfield, you'd have been laughed out of town.
Jenno, could they have traded down? Is that why they waited 10 minutes? Do you think that's what they were trying to do? Because they could have got their guy at maybe, I don't know, 2, 3, 4. Well, obviously 4 was theirs, actually.
Well, I still think the Jets' plan was also to take Mayfield. I've still believed that all the way through. I just think they wanted to milk the clock. Mike Meyer even said that's probably just for TV.
Yeah.
Which I don't get. I'm like, just get the first pick and let's get this thing going. It's a long night for us, especially me. Like, I was up till 5 o'clock in the morning and then filming this at 9:30. So, right, boys. But yeah, I just think it was a surprise for me to take the undersized quarterback. That's a bit of a mouth. I'm thinking just take the guy everyone tells you to take sometimes, but at least the Browns have finally took a quarterback with the first pick and went, yeah, we're going to go for it. We're going to take our shot with the quarterback. We're not going to wait and just take some middle-of-the-road QB and hope for the best.
Do you think this is going to be a good move? Is this what Dorsey's going to be remembered for in a positive way?
It depends how good Mayfield is.
Obviously, Jenno.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I can't tell you that from what I've seen that Mayfield's going to be this amazing player because the air raid doesn't usually translate, but Goff uses elements of the air raid and it's sort of translated for him. So he's got the potential to be a good quarterback. He is accurate, but again, he is undersized a little bit, which I think is overestimated. But he's got that huge bust potential, like so much bust potential that.
The similarities with Johnny Manziel are already doing the rounds, aren't they, Steve?
I think that's unfair, to be honest, because Manziel was a bit of a head case. And, he wasn't into footy that much. His plays, if you watched him in college, he was just play breaks down, he runs around and does absolute madness, and that doesn't really translate well. Whereas Mayfield can play from the pocket. He's good on the run when he throws. He's
so accurate.
He's accurate when he moves, which is that's an amazing skill to have. So. It's only because he's a little guy who's gone to Cleveland. I think that the comparisons are there, but he's a much better player than Manziel. Like I say, I would have took Darnold, but I had all 5 quarterbacks ranked as first round, talent, top players, and you could have took any of them, and you could have made the case for taking any of the 5. So they've made their choice, and like I say, it's John Dorsey's now tied himself to Baker Mayfield, so he must be certain in his mind that he's the man, because if it's not, then he's probably not going to have a job in a couple of years.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? And we'll move on to the second pick. We're going to go chronologically. We're going to pick out ones that we find really interesting. I think, listen, for many reasons, the New York Giants pick of Saquon Barkley at number 2 is a definite talking point, because you have said, essentially, Eli Manning is our guy, Steve.
That's exactly what they've done, yeah. They've said, we're going to stick with this guy. Maybe I think he's 37, so maybe he can play for 2 more years, 3 more years. Let's prop him up by picking the best player in the draft. And, we've seen Leonard Fournette prop like balls up. We've seen Zeke Elliott prop Dak up. That type of thing. For a while, Dalvin Cook was propping Case Keenum up, and then even Murray and McKinnon helped prop Case Keenum up at times. So this is the new thing. Todd Gurley is a perfect example of propping Jared Goff up. So, listen, there's a lot of people out there who'll be watching, but you know what, you'd never take a running back after 2. And I completely understand that view, because you might be able to get one at 62 who's 80% as good. But
generational talent.
He's the best running back I've seen in college since I've been watching it, and that's been like a decade or so. So I think he's absolutely unbelievable. And if it comes in and if he translates his form, he is absolutely fantastic. And what it does, you've either got to stack the box to stop Saquon, or you've got to double team Odell. It's going to be hard to do both. And if you do both, every other man on that roster in terms of pass catches, whether the tight ends or wide receivers 2 and 3, should be licking their lips because someone's got to be open.
Yeah, you've got Sterling Shepard there, you've got Ingram there. These guys are going to have much better years because of this pick, Jenno, do you reckon?
It depends if Eli Manning's got any kind of arm left, which I'm not sure he has. that my big thing was, I think you got the second pick, just take the quarterback of the future. I was very open about that, was what I thought. I agree that Saquon Barkley's amazing, everything I've heard about him. He's going to get them, and he's going to be the pinnacle of that offense. He's going to be the forefront of what they're going to... It's all going to go through Saquon Barkley, but can he really get it to Odell? Can he get it to the open receivers? I'm not so sure. I just think that was, as good as Saquon Barkley is, I think that was the wrong move for the Giants. If it's the wrong move for the Giants, and this is what I found myself thinking about, I didn't stay up last night. I watched it this morning with the kids. I have the kids every morning, and so I watched it this morning, and I didn't know what was happening, so it was kind of as live. And I must admit, it's that what got me thinking about it, Steve, was if this doesn't work and Eli's arm's gone, he's still probably get another run at next year.
Yeah, listen, as I was saying, if Eli is as bad as you think he is, then they might be able to take that quarterback next year. And if it works out, then it works out great. And they did take a quarterback a couple of years ago. There's a Davis Webb, I think. Yeah. So maybe they like him. I don't know. Well, they've gone for the we think we're good enough to win now. It was only 2 years ago they won their division. Yeah, they were a playoff team 2 years ago. We all went to shit last year with a horrendous coach. The talent, they've got a very talented roster. It isn't deep. They do lack depth. You know, there's a couple of injuries away from being, you know, irrelevant. But they've got some really good players. So maybe they just think, you know what, let's just take the guy who's number 1 on the board and go for it. I heard Dave Gettleman saying, you know, he never got an offer worth taking to move out to number 2. So he's obviously thinking, if he really likes Saquon, it isn't worth taking a couple of seconds, a couple of third rounds. Let's just take him and play him. I think he's going to be great. There's no reason to doubt him. And it's the place that he's gone to seems like a great fit for me as well. You know, a really confident guy who backs himself, who's going into a great market for American football, and he is obviously going to be playing with huge stars from the game, and it seems to me like it's just such a great fit for him for Barkley himself. Well, that's where his management wants him to go. That's where everyone's management wants him to go, New York or LA, because that's where he's going to make the money. So that for him, he's quids in, mate. He's quids in. I think he is going to be one of the best running backs. I just think that's only going to take them to 7 and 9, and I don't think you can get a QB when you're in the middle of the draft. Okay, fair enough. We'll move on then. Probably most people's top-ranked quarterback moves to the Jets at number 3, and Sam Darnold, Jenno, and it was a bit of a shock, obviously, that he's fallen this far, which is mental because it's only number 3, but it was a shock. Yeah, everyone sat there, you know, even when the reports were coming out that Baker Mayfield was going number 1, I still didn't believe it, and I was saying right before the draft, it's going to be Sam Darnold. Does anyone actually believe it's going to be Mayfield? And then, yeah, it was Mayfield. So Darnold sat there for the Jets, and they scam for Sam worked. Like that was the guy, if you'd asked them last year when we were talking about them going 0-16, they were talking about wanting Sam Darnold. It all fell right for them to get Sam Darnold. So they're happy right now with the Jets. Jenno, interesting point, and we'll move it on to you, Steve. The fan base were calling for Sam Darnold, but do you think the management really believed that they were going to get him? It's weird. And do you think they were actually planning for him themselves? I don't know, because they traded blind. They traded, it was a couple of seconds, well, I think it was 2 seconds and then 2019 seconds. Yeah. To go from 6. Obviously swapping the first round. Yeah, to go, and that was a while ago they did that, so they've traded up blind almost, which makes you think they must have had 3 quarterbacks on their board who they were happy with taking at 3. Because otherwise you know. But it's the type of quarterback, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, they're interested in Baker Mayfield, which everybody thinks. To go to a Sam Darnold is quite a difference. Yeah, but see, they're probably the 2 most similar. They're not that dissimilar in ways. They're both quite accurate. I mean, Darnold's issue is the turnovers. His decision making is terrible, and he fumbles. Was it 22 last season? He fumbles a lot. He needs to clean that up, but. They've traded up blind. I personally, I think they wanted Josh Rosen. I think they were tempted. I think if the Giants would have took Darnold, I think the Jets would have took Josh Rosen. But why? I just think
Why didn't they take Rosen?
Because I think Donald's better than him. I think.
You think because Donald was still available?
Yeah.
Sorry, right. That makes sense. I'm like, hang on, he was still there.
Sorry, in my head, I'm thinking when they made that trade last week, they thought it was going to go Donald, Barkley, and then they were going to get Rosen. Or that's why in my head.
And Donald's available, so they go, fuck Rosen. See you later. We're going to get Donald.
Exactly. We'll take the best player. And listen, the Jets haven't had a quarterback for so long. You know, they've had to make do with. You know, a year of Brett Favre when he was still injured. They've had Josh McCown. They've gone through Bryce Petty. They've gone through, you know, the Mark Sanchez.
How many have they got on the board now? Have they got 5 quarterbacks? Yeah. You know, you've got Teddy Bridgewater, haven't they?
Do you class Christian Hackenberg as a quarterback?
Probably not, but he was a high pick.
So that's 4, and Bryce Petty isn't a quarterback, so that's probably 3. So I don't know. Listen,
have they now got the best quarterback trio in the league?
McCown, Bridgewater, Donald. I imagine Teddy's going to find himself cut sooner or later, but he's a great player. I think they found the quarterback now. Just I hope it doesn't go wrong for them because they deserve a bit of luck. I know he probably disagrees, but
is he going to sit?
Probably, yeah. I think they might give him a couple of weeks with Josh. Josh McCown's a fine, good enough player. So I reckon they'll just go in and competition it and see what happens. And ultimately, I think he'll win. But at least it gives him time to pick up the technical flaws and maybe fix them. For example, holding the ball over here in the NFL pocket is stupid.
Between your index finger and your thumb, ready right before you're about to throw the ball.
Having you feel like over here, you can clean all that up, and there's no rush because Josh McCown can play 5 games and might get you to 2 and 3 or whatever. Ultimately, who cares? You're not going to win nothing this year anyway. So, yeah, I think you probably will see him sit for a while, and then he'll come in and he'll be amazing.
Okay, Jenno, we move on then. 4th pick, it was Cleveland Browns. They addressed their other glaring need, and it was a bit of a shock, wasn't it? You know, Denzel Ward, first defensive player off the board, cornerback.
We all thought this was going to be we all thought this was going to be Bradley Chubb to pair with Myles Garrett, but no. I'd seen a lot of mock drafts had the Browns taking out these people and then taking Denzel Ward, so it was clearly out there that they liked him, but no one thought they were going to take him this high. But it just makes sense. They lost Jason McCourtney to the Patriots. Let's go and get a corner. Let's go and try and solidify that secondary. Let's take some good players. That's what we've been saying about the Browns. They can't just keep having all these picks and keep taking down. They need to actually start drafting what they consider blue chip players, and that's what they've done. They took the quarterback they like, they took the corner they like. They're going for it with their players now and actually using these picks and hoping to get the blue chip talent.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll move on then. Denver Broncos, I think, will have been really surprised that Chubb was available at number 5.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing.
And they have moved pretty quick to get him.
I mean, Von Miller and Bradley Chubb, all the best. Jesus Christ. I mean, obviously the protection goes to Von, and rightly so. So Bradley Chubb, this is the best possible landing place he could do. Of all those places, listen, money-wise, obviously he would have wanted to go 1, but in terms of fit and getting everything he needs, that in that stadium with that crowd noise, you're going to be single blocked every week, and you've got Von Miller on the other side causing absolute chaos. So the quarterback is always going to be sliding towards you. It's an absolute dream move for Bradley Chubb.
It gives him the best platform to succeed early, doesn't it?
If he's not going to succeed there, he's never going to succeed. He has got an absolute dream, and he should be absolutely delighted.
Who's the other happiest man in Denver right now? It's Case Keenum. It's absolutely Case Keenum. He's got 25 million guaranteed or something there.
He's got a season, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Here's your season, go win us something. And listen, he guided Minnesota far based on a pass rush and a good corner and a good secondary. Denver have got that as well. But they haven't got as good an offense. But I think that's an absolute dream pick. I think he should be delighted. I think Denver should be delighted.
So, Jenno, excuse me. From the first 5 picks, who's made the best one?
I think the Jets. The Jets, they took a quarterback. They took what everyone considers the best quarterback in the league. They've actually... It's going to bust because it's the Jets. But on paper, the Jets made the best pick there.
Stay?
Yeah.
I'm going to fly in the face of both of you because I like to do that and because I like the underdog. And I'm going to say Saquon Barkley's the best pick.
He's a very good player. Yeah. They're 5 very good players. And in fact, the next fella's pretty good as well. So
I've always liked, if anyone's been in a fantasy league with me, I love the old guys. I always believe that they're going to come back and do well. Don't get me wrong, I'm not drafting Eli Manning, but I do believe that the Jets are going to the Giants, are going to turn it around this season. And it's going to be because of Saquon Barkley.
They get to go every chance, yeah.
So, the Indianapolis Colts have finally decided to try and protect their quarterback.
Did you see how quickly they put that pick in? they didn't wait for 10 minutes. It was like, yeah, get him, he's fine. And the only question was, when it went in, was it, is it going to be Roquan Smith or is it going to be Quentin Nelson? Listen, Quentin Nelson, he's amazing. No, anyone who watched the show where I ranked the best players in the draft, he was very much on it. He just put him in, keep him there for 10 years and he'll be a Pro Bowl at 8 of them or something. And like you say, their quarterback's shoulders hanging off. Let's try and protect them. And they are building through the line. They've done well, and they should be given a lot of credit. They've picked up 3 second-round picks and still got probably the second best player in the draft. So fair play to them. They've done really well.
Was it a pick that you like?
Yeah, it was a pick. I was one of the few picks I've done mock draft and got this one right, so I was quite happy with that. Yeah, again.
How many did you get right?
4.
How many?
Yeah, 3.
Oh, that's unlucky. Yeah. Jenno wins again. Is that so? Jenno beat you in the predictions all season long.
I didn't really do them, so that's like I did.
Yeah, you didn't do them after you were miles behind.
This is true.
Yeah, whatever, that's fine. Listen here.
Your team was crap.
The very. Absolutely.
And now Jenno, who knows nothing about college football, has beaten you in a mock draft.
Yeah, yeah. It's all the best, yeah, I'm off. Wait to keep the viewers. This lad knows nothing.
It's about scoring points, dude. It's not about the viewers, it's about scoring
what
points.
I would say is that in my defence, I got a lot of the positions right, I just got the wrong guys.
Oh.
So you get half for having the right position. I might have done all right, but
yeah.
I picked
you did well in the predictions in that regard. You always picked one of the 2 teams that was in the game. But you just the wrong one.
Yeah, it's close enough. Close, but no cigar. Move on. Josh Allen.
I don't really want to move on, to be honest with you. Let's go to Josh Allen then. Buffalo Bills, 7th pick. They take it from Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They gave them the 12th pick, the 53rd pick, and the 56th pick to take Josh Allen. Seems to me like they've picked a quarterback who can best succeed in their environment. Cold, windy, fucking all that type of stuff.
Yeah,
going to play in the snow, get a guy with a big arm in.
Absolutely. It's honestly, wait till you see him. If you haven't watched him, wait till you see him. It's incredible. It doesn't always go to the right team or in the right place, but it goes very, very far. Yeah, listen, how often have we spoken with the Bills? They're the Panthers. They've got the Panthers GM. They've got a Panthers coach. It's Cam Newton. They've went and got the Kelvin Benjamin. They've got big receivers who can catch balls that aren't exactly, pocket passes or, in tight windows.
Or anywhere near them.
At least when it gets towards them, it's going to get there quickly. Can they catch you? That's the thing they've done. Listen.
Are we talking here, is it, I mean, I've watched a bit of it, but are we talking they catch it on the 10-yard line and the ball takes them into the end zone?
There's if you watch the bad Josh Allen plays, you think he could never play football. Like, there's a bubble screen where he just throws it out of bounds and things like that. But then there's other plays where he runs around and just like Aaron Rodgers like throws like that good. So they're hoping they get that more of that. The issue he's got is he isn't going to a very good offense. They've got Shady McCoy and that's pretty much it. So he is gonna have to, adapt to that. And again, maybe we see a little bit of AJ McCarron for a while until they figure it all out. But the upside on him is like he could be the best quarterback in the league in 5 years' time. The flip side is he could be very much Jamarcus Russell and belt the league in 2. So it's a big gamble they've taken. They've given up a lot to get him. Obviously, they weren't originally at 12 in the first place. They traded their left tackle to get to 12 in the first place. So they've banked the mortgage on Josh Allen. So it's a gamble, but we'll see how it pays off.
Did you think they'd have a legitimate chance at one of these quarterbacks,
Yeah, I always felt they were going to take one of the quarterbacks. It just made it clearly they hated Tyler Taylor because at least Josh Allen's going to throw the ball to his wide receivers and give them a chance, whereas Tyler Taylor's going to take a sack and then punt it. So they've clearly hated that and they need someone who can throw for the Sean McVay's offense to work. So it always made sense for them to take Allen. It always felt like they were going to take Allen. Never felt like they were in the Rosen conversation.
And I was really surprised at how far Rosen fell. And we're actually going to talk about him next. We're going to skip the Bears because, and we're going to skip the San Francisco 49ers as well, although quite interesting pick, I suppose. So we're going down to number 10 in the Arizona Cardinals, who some people ranked as the best quarterback in the draft.
Yeah, he's the most ready. He's the one who's most likely to start. I mean, Sam Bradford just keeps getting paid lots of money and then getting kicked out of the league. I mean, fair play. Whoever that
lad's agent is like the best.
At least he's rich. He's not playing much, but at least he's rich. But Yeah,
rich and injured.
He's rich and injured, but that's fine. Take it. Take the millions. He's very, very rich. So they've traded up to get him. They've seen him slide and thought, you know what, let's get ahead of Miami because there's a chance Miami might take him. I like Josh Rosen as a player. In terms of everything you see on the field, there's not that much. He gets hit a bit too much, and the Arizona Cardinals line is absolute dog poo. So that's one thing that you have to work out pretty quickly. So maybe you just stick Sam Bradford behind him as the sacrificial lamb until they can figure out. I don't know, but he takes too many hits. But other than that, if you can keep him clean, he's as good as you're going to see in terms of a thrower. He's as good as that you're ever going to see coming out of college. It's just he's very, very static, and that concerns me behind that line. And it's hard to fix your offensive line. It isn't like you can do it straight away. So, you know, people always think, the drafts, they needed this, they needed that. Well, you're not drafting these guys for next season, you're drafting these guys for hopefully 10 years. But he's got to get to 10 years' time, and I just wonder, behind that line, I think it is going to be an issue because he does get hit a lot. And, you know, he's had concussions, he's had injuries. I hope it works out because I think he's a really interesting character. I think it'd be good for the league to have someone who's not just your boring Russell Wilson, Andrew Luck, vanilla toast answers. He'll speak his mind. That's the only concern is if he stays healthy, because if he does, he'd be great. Jenno,
the Arizona market, you know, television market-wise, it's one of the smallest markets in the NFL. Do you think that's probably a good place for somebody like him?
No, I don't think it really matters. I think what's good for him is he's got David Johnson coming back. That's the thing that's good for him. You give him David Johnson, just go, yeah, mate, hand the ball off, we're just going to give it to him.
And Laddie Fitzgerald will catch everything you throw towards him. So in that sense, it's a good move, yeah, I agree.
I think it just... The Cardinals are made up, they've got Rosen. I don't think they thought in hell they had a chance. I think they were thinking, we're either getting Lamar Jackson, or maybe if someone doesn't like Allen, or maybe Mayfield. They never thought they were getting Rosen. I think they literally just sprinted to that and went, get him now, because he's an interesting character, but I think he's smart enough to know, maybe talking about politics during the football season is not really what he should be doing. Let's put the work in, make sure that you're a starting quarterback and that you're someone who's actually playing games before you start trying to become like the icon, what's the word I'm looking for?
The leader of the franchise? I don't know.
No, the leader.
Even like if you want,
when you looked up to.
Like a role model type.
Role model, that's the word I'm looking for.
The thing is now, Baker Mayfield's always played since the day forever with a chip on his shoulder because people always doubted him. No, you can't say that anymore because you're number one in the draft. So
Rosen has that.
Josh Rosen will have the big, and he even said
he got pissed off, didn't he?
He was talking to Alexander, like, yeah,
nine mistakes. And that's very, very Peyton Manning, wasn't it?
Very Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers still holds a grudge against every team that's passed on him. So he's got the biggest chip on his shoulder, and I think that'll be a positive for Arizona. You know, 9 teams passed on this guy. He was the 4th quarterback taken. So you know, he should be annoyed because he should think that he's the best. That's how these guys get to where they are. I think that could work again. Provided he stays on the field because the injury risk is real, then he should be fine.
Jenno, we'll go to the 11th pick then. Another one that you got right.
Yeah. Minka Fitzpatrick. I think he just made sense. Again, I believe the Dolphins and Adam Gase believes in Ryan Tannehill. He's wrong. He's not very good. But he believes in Ryan Tannehill from everything he said. So I think a lot of people saying they won't take quarterback was a bit unfounded. It was more people projecting what they think what the Dolphins should do, not what they were ever going to do. So they just took what they think's the best player in the world, which is Minka Fitzpatrick, which again he looks like he's got the potential to be a star. He covers everywhere. He's strong. He's fast. He's what you want in a cornerback.
He's the modern day. So he can play slot corner, he can play corner, he can play safety, he can do a bit of linebacker. I'm surprised 11's a steal for him. I think I had him in top 5, but you just take that pick. You just take it. Value-wise, it's a great pick, and scheme-wise, it's perfect. They've got a very, very good safety tandem now, if you can look at what they've got. So I think that was a no-brainer, a really good pick for them.
Okay, well, we'll shoot down to the 14th pick. It was actually Green Bay's pick. And,
I went to bed because they traded out of it.
Yeah, they gave away the 2009 first rounder, pick 27 as well, and they've moved up, I think, 5 places or something like that.
No, they've moved up 13 places they've give up next year's first and a 5th to the Packers to go. And
pick 27.
At that stage, everyone's thinking it's Lamar Jackson. Why would you give up 2 first rounders for someone else? It's not. It's for Marcus Davenport. So they are very much win now. They must think that we're a pass rusher away from being Super Bowl champions. And you can probably argue they are.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that defense was great last season, wasn't it? But I never felt like the finished article, Jenno, and this pick proves that.
Yeah, they always felt like there was, I remember the game against the Lions where it was just point after point to each team, and they felt like, well, we have a pass rusher, we can stop that. We have a pass rusher, we stopped the miracle in Minnesota. That's what they thought. I mean, I was shocked that they traded so much of the draft away to go and get a pass rusher at 14. It just logically didn't seem right. And you see, when you look at all the other trades in this draft, they seem to have been fleeced a bit. They've spent a lot more to not move up as much as other teams.
The Saints always make mad decisions. One day, it's like they keep spending on the credit card. One day it's going to come back and bite them. They're going to go 0-16 at some stage, because it's got to, because they keep spending money, they keep kicking contracts down the road, they keep doing things like this. But if they win a Super Bowl before, and they'll be absolutely fine. Again, we talked before about Chubb. Double teams on Von Miller. Well, the double teams in New Orleans are all going to be on Cam Jordan. So he's got a chance. He's very, very raw. And I thought he would go 14. I just presumed it would be to the Green Bay Packers. So he's in the right place. It's just to a different team. Does that count on me? No? Okay. He's very, very raw. That's all I'll say. He's got the athletic ability, and you can see why someone would love him. He is raw, and it's a lot to give up. So fair play. It's a very much a win next season type of move.
And listen, the Saints were absolutely unbelievable. One of the most well-rounded teams last year, and this just makes them better, doesn't it? So you could argue they've given up a little bit too much, but if they go and win now, they haven't.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
They haven't. Okay, so we'll move down. We'll go to your team next, Green Bay Packers. You called for a cornerback?
I did.
And you got a cornerback?
I got the one, yeah. Jair Alexander, and like I say, I wouldn't have been surprised if they took him at 14, so the fact that they've gone down, well, they went down to 27, and then they come back up to 18. I think when they realised, I think they were waiting to see what happened. I thought they might have took Derwin James, for example, but he went a little bit before to the Chargers.
One place before, yeah.
The Packers need a cornerback. It's as simple as that. And when value meets need, that's the perfect draft pick, isn't it? So when you get someone who's a very good player at a very good position that you need at a stage in the draft, that's a decent position. So I'm happy. Basically, in the end, the Packers basically ended up moving down 4 places and got a first round pick out of it next year. So you can't really complain. And you've got a very good player in Alexander. So yeah, I'm absolutely no complaints. And he'll go in and he'll start on one side. King will be on the other side, and we've got a new secondary that we very much need because the other one was absolute crap.
Okay, Jenno, we're going to go down to the 19th pick in the Dallas Cowboys. They take an inside linebacker. Is this the end of Sean Lee?
It should be. The guy's always injured, and he's literally been their defense on his own. They needed to play this. Actually, the one I got right as well.
Van der Esch,
yeah. Basically, you look at the Cowboys and everyone's saying, get DJ Moore. But this is the new Cowboys. This isn't the 2000s Cowboys who just took the flashy names. They took what they needed in an inside linebacker to improve that defense. And I just think it's a very good pick and very good value for the Cowboys.
This is a guy who's had a few injury issues over his college career, am I right in saying?
Yeah, but you know what he is? I think he's insurance for Sean Lee. If Sean Lee can, if he plays, keep him around because he's one of the best players in the league when he's healthy.
Those 3 games a year.
That's the issue, isn't it? So and to be fair, next to him was Jalen Smith, who they took a flyer on, who was he was I don't know if you know the Jalen Smith story. He was a very high prospect. He injured his knee. There was talk he might never play, and they took a flyer on him in the second round. And he looks like a guy who struggled, who's had a serious injury, and he's not what he was projected to be because of the injury. So they give themselves depth, and it isn't a sexy pick at times, giving yourself depth, but your season can't
when you need the depth.
Your season can't fall apart when one guy gets injured. You just can't have that. And every time Sean Lee got injured, yeah. Well, I mean, listen, if you
I'm really kidding. I know it's the quarterback.
If any quarterback goes down, you're going to be in trouble most teams. But
I'm just going to get the digs in until the season starts because he's going to be boss again, so I get to do it now.
Yeah, wait for that to come around. But you can't. Every time Sean Lee lost, well, that's the Cowboys done. They're done. They're finished. So you can't have that. So go and get a good player like Van der Esch. I think he's very good. He's good at covering as well. So I think it was a smart pick. I agree. It's not the Jerry Jones Cowboys. It's probably more the Stephen Jones Cowboys who's starting to take over a little bit. But I like it. He's a good player.
So we move on to pick 24.
Are we skipping the run on centres?
Yes. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Let's just skip that. I'll tell you what, Jenno. Let's go to 23 with you, mate. Isaiah Wynn.
Yeah.
Are you happy with that pick for the Patriots?
Yeah, I think we wanted to take Evans, and obviously the Titans just done the dirty on us and traded up to get him. So I think the problem with New England's offensive line was the left side. It was the Solder and Tudy left side. Well, they let Solder go, and they've drafted Isaiah Wynn. Where a lot of people see Wynn as a guard, but then at the same time, they say he's too big to be a guard. So left tackle. either way, that was a problem position for the Patriots offensive line. They'll get him in, they'll find out what he's best at, and they'll either make him into Logan Mankins or just better than Nate Solder.
Yeah, he's short. That's the only thing that people. He's played left tackle. He's been a good left tackle, and loads of people were saying he was going to play guard. And I was thinking, why? He's a left tackle.
If he's a good left tackle,
he's short. He's got shorter arms. He might get have a go. And if worst case is he kicks inside, and he'll be a good guard. But again, Tom Brady doesn't need all day to be protected. He needs a split second to be protected. And that's fine. I think he'll go and play left tackle. It'll be good.
Okay, Jenno mentioned him before. Everyone thought the Cowboys might go for him. The Panthers did at number 24, DJ Moore.
Yeah, first wide receiver, which is a little bit of a shock. A lot of people thought it might be Calvin Ridley, but the Panthers need pass catchers. My word, they need pass catchers. So it makes perfect sense. Big guy. I like DJ Moore. I think he's a good player, and I'm not surprised he went in the first round after all that. And like I say, they went and sort of. So I thought they might have gone offensive line, but I think they've realised, again, value pick. We need someone to needs to throw to somebody. So it makes sense. And again, I personally, I think if I was on the board, having seen the run of offensive linemen before them, it's kind of what was left. So I reckon they might have wanted a win, or they might have fancied one of the centres, or they might have fancied something. But the way the board fell, they went and picked probably the best player on their board at the time, in a position of need. So 25th
pick, Jenno, Ravens take Hayden Hurst. Now, that was Tennessee traded up, didn't need to get Rashaan Evans ahead of probably the New England Patriots. I find this really interesting because we know what happens later on in the draft with the quarterback and stuff, but I just find it really strange that they took Hayden Hurst. Do you think they were confident they would get Lamar Jackson later on? I mean, I don't know what the thought process is behind this.
I thought Hayden Hurst's thought process was get Joe Flacco a tight end. He still misses Dennis Pitta. I think he still sends him Valentine's Day cards every year. So that was my thought process, get him a tight end, because tight ends, we've seen now that the league's adapted that tight ends are pretty much everyone's favourite target. That's the way the NFL has gone. They're
the security blanket.
This is why wide receivers are getting ranked lower down now, because people trust in tight ends more, because they usually open the harder chess piece. So it made sense to me then. I was thinking, yeah, there's an Ozzie Newsome pick, take a tight end, secure, give Flacco some help. And then what happened later on in the draft, it's like, seems to be anti that move.
Well, I just think the Jackson thing was they realised they got a chance and they just took the flyer on him. I don't think they were even now they probably
don't think they were planning for that.
I think they had it in the mind maybe, but I think they thought, like you said, get Flacco he needs a tight end because he just needs someone. He's a dump, considering he's got such a big arm, he loves a dump off. So at least Hayden Hurst can block a bit as well, which is fine because not many tight ends can do. He's just old. He's like 25, 26, and he's played a bit of baseball. You're picking him there for one contract. He isn't your 10-year plug-and-play guy. He's going to be 30 by the time his second contract comes around. So we'll see how that one goes. I think he's all right. I think he's fine. But yeah, I think the thing that Jenno said the most, look at them since they haven't had Dennis Pitta, they've been in absolute shambles. So maybe that's what the thinking was. We'll give Flacco someone who he can look downfield, decide not to throw and dump it off to, because that's kind of what he does. Okay, and then Ozzie Newsome makes waves again at the end of the draft and does draft the quarterback in Lamar Jackson, and now everybody... I absolutely love it.
It's not even given away that much, really, if you think about it. The 52nd, the 125th, and a 2019 second rounder to go and get your quarterback of the future.
I love it. I love Lamar Jackson. I think he's amazing. He's a polar opposite, so maybe they've had enough of the Joe Flacco bombs and dump offs, and the amazing thing we're getting...
The people who are working at the Ravens have worked with this type of quarterback before.
Yeah, so they took RG3 in, which maybe tipped the hand, maybe they were thinking about doing this. They've had interest in Colin Kaepernick. I think they've worked with Colin Kaepernick, the offensive coordinator. So there's stuff going on there where you think it makes sense. Getting him a 32 is clever as well, because you get the 5-year option. You don't end up in the Jimmy Garoppolo situation where you've got to make a decision after 3 years rather than 5. So it all makes perfect sense, and I think, listen, that's the end of Joe Flacco at some stage now. Whether it's this year, next year, who knows? I love Lamar Jackson. I think he's so fun to watch. He might not always win, but he'll make you want to watch the Ravens, which hasn't been the case for since they had the defense where you didn't care what happened on offense. You just wanted the other team to have the ball, which was quite handy because Joe Flacco gave him it quite a bit. Lamar Jackson will be an absolute playmaker. He's so much fun. And I'm glad he got taken because he deserved to be a first round pick. Of the minute Travis Debe, the felt second round, he's far too good. It makes perfect sense, and I think it's a really, really smart move by Ozzie Newsome. It's his last ever draft, so he isn't even making this pick for himself. He's making it for the future, and I think he's done really, really well.
Okay, before we wrap it up then, Jenno, who are your big winners from draft day one?
Teams or players?
Teams.
Yeah, because anyone at the top.
No, I think the Jets getting Sam Darnold, because I don't think they ever thought they were going to get Sam Darnold. I think the Bills got who they wanted in Edmonds and Allen. So I think they're big winners in terms of getting what you want. And then the Ravens, trade it back, and then they've just got the future. If Lamar Jackson is what they think he's going to be in terms of Deshaun Watson clone, you're laughing, lads. Yep. Get rid of Joe Flacco, get rid of 1 yard dump off or 50 yards down the field. The future's there.
Okay, Steve, like yourself?
Denver getting Bradley Chubb, I think they're absolutely delighted getting Chubb. I think the Colts are delighted getting Nelson. We always thought the teams between 5 and 10 are going to get really good players because a couple of quarterbacks are going to go above them, and that's kind of what happened. So yeah, I think Denver will have been delighted to get Bradley Chubb.
I think for win now, for me, it's probably, I think the Saints will be delighted with their business. I think you've got the Denver Broncos, I completely agree with. I like the Giants pick as well. And then for the future, I think the Arizona Cardinals will be absolutely made up to be getting Rosen.
Yeah, all makes sense, yeah.
So there we go. That is our day one draft analysis.
Is there any picks you hated?
Ooh.
Can I
go ahead, you go first, mate, yeah.
Seattle, Rashard Penny. Hate it. Absolutely hate it. Don't see the point. Don't think he was the second best running back. I think they've traded down loads and loads and loads to get a kick returner. I don't like the Steelers taking Terrell Edmonds. Again, it might turn out to be completely wrong, and both these guys might be Pro Bowlers in 10 years' time and all world players, so fair play to me. But I had a 3rd round grade on my system, the way I rank players on Terrell Edmonds, so I didn't like that one as well. Other than that, there's not much I really dislike. And you're not taking Mike Hughes annoys me because I think he's a good player. I think he's a character concern, but I think he goes into a very, very strong line.
Zimmer's got a history of drafting quarterbacks in the first round as well, doesn't he?
We've got a little bit of edge.
I mean, Trey Waynes, for one, is one of those guys, you know, and you can see something similar, hopefully, there's
a few red flags on Mike Hughes off the field, but, you know what, walk into that locker room and try and make you fool yourself, pal. And, you know, good luck with you. When that defensive line and those safeties and those corners are looking at you and you're trying to make a fool and just clip you around the head and smack you back into line.
Something that surprised me a little bit, although I don't think it's a bad pick, the 29th, Jacksonville Jaguars loading up again.
Well, I always think with Jacksonville what they need is more defensive tackles and more defensive line. So come get that's ridiculous, it's absolutely insane. So, now,
especially when there's quarterbacks on the board there.
Yeah, I think they should have took Lamar Jackson. What I would say is that the Eagles won the Super Bowl because they had depth. Having said that, they won because they could play quarterback as well. So I think they should really...
And they had depth for quarterback.
I really think they should have taken Lamar Jackson. Brian's a good player, but I don't know, it's just like... It's just a rotation, isn't it? So it's Campbell, it's Ngakoue, it's Jackson, it's...
It's scary. It's scary is what it is.
It's what it is, yeah, but it's a... Again, that's purely, obviously, they've decided, you know what, we're just going to just be monsters on defence and try and win 10-9 every game. You got to play Bottles, you might have
Anything you don't like?
With that pick, I bet your Colts are thinking, thank God we got Nelson.
I know, yeah. Anything you don't like, Jenno?
I don't like the Jaguars taking a defensive tackle because, again, you were almost in the Super Bowl. All you needed was a quarterback to get you over the edge. Go take one.
And they had the chance to do it as well, didn't they? That's the thing.
No trading up, one was there right in your backyard. You could have took him and they went, nah, let's go and get another defensive tackle.
So that's now 15 defensive tackles they've got on the books.
Yeah, I say Rashard Penny was an odd one for me for the Seattle. I don't understand that at all. But again, he's decent. I think Sony Michel, who went a few picks later to New England, is better than him. But obviously, there's talk he's got a dodgy knee or there's an issue there. But
they'll only use him for the 3 games before the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and he'll be an absolute star, and then he won't use him again for 15 games.
You'll just see it. You'll have a play, and he'll come with a title game with 6 touchdowns and 5 pass catches and stuff. The Penny one's mad. I just find it absolutely bizarre, but obviously they see something in that running back that we don't, or I don't, or I personally don't, but it is what it is in Seattle. To be fair, they've got a very, very good GM and a very good coach, so it's hard. They deserve a bit of benefit to the doubt. If that's what they think is the 27th best player in the draft, then they are very much disagreeing with me.
Okay, well, I don't know if they'll be at that arse, but listen, thank you so much for joining us. As I say, that is day one draft analysis done. Steve will be back next week with
Jenno.
to cover the rest of the draft, so don't forget to tune in then. If you've enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you enjoyed our British take on the NFL, then please do subscribe to the channel, tell your mates about it and stuff as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Cover 2 TV, if I'm still alive.